just 14.
Than regular machines on the market.
Position with the ab stand.
Vigorous abdominal.
This is not a workout. This is a revolution.
You just shake it. And sexy. You wish you had a rock hard six-pack, 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 six-pack.
Stop wishing and start thinking. You can have ripped abs just by thinking it. Welcome to the Ab Lab. I'm the designer of the Abstract, a new way of thinking about fitness. With these cognitive tools, you will unite mind and body and sculpt the abs of a god.
What is the secret to a washboard stomach? Metaform, keeping your core engaged all the time. How do we do that? Remember the golden mean. If the form is bold, the abs will mold. Can you feel that?
It really is effortless.
Can you feel it?
Oh yeah.
We're just getting started. Can you feel it? Flex your frontal lobes, right there. Flex them. Excellent. As an expert, I review a lot of different fitness products, and there are dozens of ab gimmick products out there. They're absurd. If you are buying these products, there's something wrong with your thought processes. The Abstract corrects these cognitive biases.
Abstraction. It's thinking on a higher level.
Other ab products focus on the physical, whereas the Abstract targets the metaphysical. By strengthening your metaphysique, you will a foundation on which to manifest muscle.
Our philosophers have conducted thousands of peer-reviewed thought experiments that prove the Abstract works.
You've heard of the Bowflex. Well, think of this as the placebo flex. And that's how it works. What is the first principle of abstraction?
I don't know.
That's correct. Yes, the Socratic imperative of humility before knowledge. Excellent. Congratulate yourselves with some lap grats.
We're so fucking stupid.
That's correct. Very good, Luke. Plato would be proud. Good job, guys. You are your own life coach. Remember that. The reason all these ab gimmicks don't deliver results, besides that they suck, is what's called user failure. See, the Abstract works to make you smarter. Healthy mind, healthy body. Get abs with the Abstract.
You can't harness the power of positive thinking if you don't know how to think at all. Law of attraction, it's just a distraction from abstraction.
You think you've worked your biceps and your triceps before, but you haven't until you've learned biceps and strengthen your cerebral core. Come on, man. You have to focus. Come on, it's mind over matter. Even a kid can do it. Relax. Why are you flexing your face? These are core exercises. We'll get to facelifts and highbrows later. To focus. I know it's a lot of mental lifting.
A standard set of biceps is just 5 reps.
At a fundamental level, we have to ask ourselves why we do anything at all.
Scientific studies show that flexing your biceps just 3 times can make you more politically moderate. Just imagine what being centered can do for your abs.
The biceps proved to be a challenge. I wasn't thinking the right way yet, and I definitely fell into one of the traps, got caught into paralysis by analysis, and it was a bit of a humbling experience that got me to move on to a next further step.
Through intense scientific research, I've developed advanced techniques of physical and metaphysical abstraction, such as flex breathing, reed posing, and meta walking.
It's all up here. Professional athletes have to be highly trained at focusing mentally because it's easy to forget what you're doing. That's why it's called muscle memory. You've heard the expression, in the zone. Well, in cognitive psychology, we call that the flow state. America's rates of science illiteracy are among the worst in the developed world, not to mention the obesity epidemic. Finally, a product that addresses both scientific literacy and obesity. The abstract cross-trains your brain with your body to build a strong, dynamic core.
What would you say if I told you that the abstract was the only product of its kind that was FDA approved?
I'd say that's great.
Well, the abstract doesn't need FDA approval because it's not a tangible exercise product, it's an idea.
There's no product?
You are the product of your environment. What if I told you that the abstract is a heuristic?
I don't know what that means.
Well, with the abstract, you will. Knowledge is power.
A heuristic is a mental technique or method that enables problem-solving, self-learning, and discovery. The abstract is just such a heuristic for developing core strength, the best there is, in fact. A recent study shows that people believe that they understand concepts better than they actually do. This is evidence that people are failing to know how to abstract. It's a question of epistemic justice, really. There's never been a greater need for this manual. It promotes higher thinking with perfect form in one book, The Abstract.
You use the abstract?
Of course. I'm using it right now.
Prove it.
Boom.
Now that's what I call thinking on your feet.
Rise to the occasion with a standing desk. Ergo, nomics.
Humans are meant to walk upright. It's evolution. You've literally got to stand up for what you believe in. I do chair pose.
Outstanding. What do you stand for?
What is the abstract?
The abstract is a treatise on core fitness and philosophy.
According to game theory, this is a textbook decision matrix, what we call a no-brainer. Buy this book.
The dimensions of this book are the exact dimensions of a globe rectangle.
How does it work? Absolutely.
It's difficult to define because it's abstract. And that's the point.
Ever hear of The Secret? Forget it. Da Vinci didn't believe in nonsense. He used a compass and a square and got abstract. Get it right with right angles, geometrically proven to be 90 degrees.
That angle is acute.
You're being obtuse.
No, you're missing the point. You have to be the golden mean.
You're mean.
What do you guys mean?
Oh, I'm sick of all your metaphors.
What's a metaphor?
Geometry. It's self-evident.
The abstract is not easy. Any professional yogi or bodybuilder will tell you that the most important thing is mental focus. It's not about how much weight you can lift in the gym, it's about how much you can endure mentally.
Contrary to a lot of workout programs, I thought I would get the hang of it and progressively get better and it'd get easier, but I found it was the opposite. The more I progressed, the harder it got.
When you finish this program, you should, in theory, be able to do 100 abstractions per day.
How many can you do?
When you get to my level, you stop counting. You're just abstracting all the time.
What's the most you can do? Sky's the limit. Track your progress with benchmarks.
The abstract. It's not easy.
You're an abdominal snowman. Just abdicate that spare tire. Wait, dude, how much does this cost anyway?
That's the best part. Other systems will charge you an arm and a leg. Well, you might need those.
You can't put a price on abstraction. We call it the pay-as-you-know system because we'd rather you pay attention. But there is a small fee. How much do you value thinking? But wait, there's more.
One of the tools of the abstract that I use is, of course, the macroscope for seeing the big picture. Now, it's very easy to see the whole world as one from space. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. And from that global perspective, we can actually see that the divisions which divide us are merely mental, not physical. From space, countries are indistinct land masses, rivers, mountains, just as moving and turning as the centuries roll over the landscape as anything else, but much, much, much more transient, and even much more transient than our very own lives. The abstract helps me to think about everything in a global context.
Can you imagine?
Welcome to the core, or as we call it, the plexus nexus.
Hey, where are the others? They didn't make it?
Oh, they had potential, but they dropped out. Luke, I'd like you to meet one of our colleagues. This is William Power.
Nice to meet you.
Wary. He's our secret weapon. Meta, walk with me.
So you see, Hannah, what can be known depends on one's position.
Ah, now I see what you mean by multiple truths. Thanks, Sophia.
Hey, we did it. We passed the Bechdel test. Soft rage. Come on, found it.
Aristotle spoke of the good, true, beautiful ladies.
Men.
This is gonna sound cliche, but the first time I actually successfully put on the meta belt, it was life-changing.
What is the point of a circle?
Circle is pointless.
A geometry joke, you kidding me? Just a little warm-up I like to start with, but seriously, how can you get in shape if you don't know geometry? Get in shapes, like Da Vinci here, and the fat will be polygon. But seriously, I know it's hard, but as your understanding of reality begins to increase, you begin to experience more frequent epiphanies.
What are epiphanies?
An epiphany is a sudden moment of realization, a moment of comprehension, a revelation. Okay, you know when you misplace your keys and you begin to frantically look around and boom, all of a sudden you remember where you left them.
Oh, I have epiphanies all the time.
Eureka. Sometimes epiphanies come too late, like the fabled owl of Minerva flapping his wings at dusk. Philosophy always comes late to the party. It's really quite difficult, actually. Most of you probably won't be able to do it. But you should try anyways.
So this book is just volume 1 out of 100. And once you get to the master class, you get the encyclopedic version. And I think the more you read, the more you understand that everything's tied together. You see the core principle. But also you start understanding that everything's relative and subjective. There is no center really, but there is a core.
So this is a test for all of you.
This is a world problem, and it's a good metaphor, I think, for a whole range of issues. I guess the point being that if all we're doing is testing and then teaching to the test, that doesn't assure that we're actually improving educational outcomes.
Why are you reading your own book?
They say writing is like having a conversation with oneself. Much like dreaming. What do you think?
I think, therefore I am ripped.
Cogito, ergo abs.
Let's see them.
Ah, the burden of proof.
It's like corn on the cob.
Well, don't just stand there. Take that stick of butter, butter me up.
It's difficult to explain puns to kleptomaniacs because they take things literally.
The conspiracy is so big, the government doesn't even know about it.
Oh no, I wasn't. I mean, are you a Christian? I was thinking that's not very abstract.
This isn't a crucifix, it's a small t. Isn't small t truth?
Oh, neat. Truth is, I was looking at your breasts. Who is Adam Cadmon?
Cadmon, the intelligent designer. Point being, abstract.
I mean the man. Who is he really?
He's an alien.
From outer space?
Well, we're all from outer space. What I mean is he's alienated from the world. He's an outcast.
Oh. What happened?
He stared into the abyss and it swallowed him whole. Theories on alienation can have a devastating impact on the abstract mind.
Where is he now?
He's in a black hole, in a kind of purgatory. Here's an abstract fact for you. Socrates died for our sins. He was sentenced to death by people who couldn't understand him because he was too abstract.
Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
Is it worth it?
What?
That level of consciousness.
You can't put a price on abstraction. Checkmate. Life is a game, so you're gonna have to learn some game theory.
Hey, how do you know nerds and geeks are related? They both have square roots.
You think this is funny? Is the abstract a joke to you? A joke is a very serious thing. Winston Churchill. Can you define a joke for me?
It's something that makes you laugh.
Something that makes you laugh, he says. Well, there are many theories on what the definition is, but to explain it to you would defeat the purpose. But I will say, if this is a joke, you'd be getting ripped abs. Because laughter releases tension and engages the core at the same time. Now that's irony.
Is that Socratic irony?
No, regular irony.
Okay, what is that then?
Well, you know what your funny bone is?
Yeah.
Is it funny?
No.
How ironic.
This is humorous. Arm bone.
Right again, Luke.
There's so much to learn.
This is your homework, all of you. How do you expect to get definition if you don't know what it is? Class dismissed. Luke, don't forget to prepare for your acid test this weekend. Remember, it's a self-examination.
I've been having visions.
Luke, you're becoming quite adept at abstraction.
Thank you, Master Vitruvius. Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. That's just the beginning. It's so much deeper.
They're entangled.
Absolutely. You see, the abstract is more than just a treatise on core fitness and philosophy and the secret to washboard abs. It's a social experiment.
The abstract uses illusion to reveal illusion.
Precisely. I think you're ready for the next level of magnitude.
What's that?
You must learn to harness the metaphors.
The metaphors?
Yes, the metaphors is a metaphorical energy that connects everything. But there is a dark side. You see, there are those in this world who use the metaphors for evil to obscure the truth. But it's gone so far that the deceivers themselves have become deluded.
I'm gonna show the world the core truths, that they can all have ripped abs just by thinking it. No gimmicks.
Luke, metaphors be with you.
In my process of learning, I think I'm starting to reach the higher levels where Mr. David Vitruvius introduced me to the metaphors, which I've been starting to feel, and it's opened up a whole new world that I am just beginning to claw at.
But wait, there's more.
I've come to learn the ways of the metaphors.
Why?
I got ripped abs. That was easy. It only seems hard because people are so brainwashed. The world is so fucked up. I want to help change things for the better.
Go on.
The emperor with no clothes is riding the elephant in the room.
You're good. Think fast. Welcome to the Mystery School, or as I call it, the Inner Circle. Tell me, Luke, what do you know about trees?
What do you say after the meeting we go get abstemious? That means drinking in moderation.
Please. I'd drink you under the multiplication table.
Vitruvius said you were an alien.
Oh, Vitruvius, you muckraker. Exposing my extraterrestrial origins. But it's true. I abstracted too deeply, and I blew my mind. As a result, I developed a very rare condition.
What?
The human condition. Abstraction can be highly dangerous. Occasionally, we must return to the concrete.
Pound the pavement?
For instance, yes. But this too can be dangerous.
Those who abuse the metaphors.
We call them detractors. Free abstraction poses a threat to their control. Abstract too freely, and you're labeled a thought criminal. Much is at stake, as there are entire industries built on falsehoods.
Like ab gimmicks, it's so obvious once you see it.
That's just the tip of the iceberg.
So you found refuge here in the forest.
And inspiration.
Welcome to class, consciousness. Okay, now it's time to exercise the demon. Not demon, demon. It means good-natured spirit. Metaphorically speaking, we're gonna work out your good nature. Protagoras said, man is the measure of all things. Da Vinci took this to heart when he squared the circle by drawing himself in perfect geometric harmony. Get in shapes. As you can see, the proportion of the figure corresponds to the divine ratio. Yes.
I've heard some people call this sacred geometry. Is that accurate?
That's preposterous. All geometry is sacred. As I was saying...
Is this a cult?
No, it's occult. The abstract is abstruse.
Abstruse?
Esoteric.
Esoteric?
Arcane. Recondite.
It's difficult to understand.
Exactly. High five, Luke.
This is ridiculous.
Actually, it's quite serious and complex.
Why are you always so cryptic?
That is correct.
This is confusing.
No, it's Confucian.
Confusion?
Confucian, as in Confucius, as in the chiseled Chinese philosopher from ancient times, terracotta abs.
This has nothing to do with abs. I don't even know why I'm here. I'm already ripped. Fuck it. I quit. What's the point?
The point? I mean the point? This point? I'm glad you asked. This is the Archimedean point, the abstract fulcrum from which Archimedes would maximize his leverage to move the entire Earth. What is the point, you ask? What is your point? What is your purpose? What is your raison d'être, your causa sui?
Okay, now you're not even speaking English.
The point of abstraction is to become a being with a point. Point being abstract.
Well, the abstract is not just about ripped abs. I think it's about everything. The possibilities are infinite.
Master Cadmon. Master Cadmon. Master Cadmon. The abstract is too difficult. Most people don't understand. They're giving up. You need to make it more accessible.
The difficulty is a vital part of the lesson. But you're right.
If the general public were to understand, there could be evolution.
Quite right. We've been working on this paradox for some time now. We're so close. William Powell is the head of our Skunkworks division, Black Brothers. He's been working on a symbolic power plant here in the forest that creates a metaforce field. He calls it Aphronesis. These are all very advanced puns, difficult to decode. But once the idea is in circulation,
it will be impossible to stop. If it works, common sense will no longer be just a pipe dream.
If everybody started abstracting, we could reach a critical mass and change things.
Remember, all language is metaphorical, and thus, all knowledge is tentative. Once this is understood, higher learning can begin.
What must I do to achieve absolution?
You have repented for buying into gimmicks. The final act is to square the circle.
But that's impossible.
In reality, perhaps, but metaphorically.
Metamorphosis?
Remember the deeper purpose of abstraction, the highest function of the will.
To change one's mind. Metanoia. Then one can deconstruct abstraction to abstraction, to expose infraction. That's abstraction.
That's it. Feel the flow.
Yes, I can see it all now. People have got to get a grip on reality. We have to try angles. We need to be tautological because we should know better.
Yes.
The abstract can raise awareness about awareness. To see beyond the veil of ignorance through the looking glass ceiling.
Careful mixing metaphors.
If we spread the seeds of ideas and nurture the environment, they will grow into trees of knowledge that will bear the fruits of our labor.
Fucking right.
People don't need to just think, they need to think just. To question or not to question is also the question mark. The abstract's not all fun and games, but it is a play on words. The whole world's a plane and we're mere vectors playing an arc. And it's time to make shift. And isn't it ironic that the things that matter aren't matter at all? They're immaterial. As a matter of fact, point being abstract.
Learn how to wax philosophically.
Welcome to the Focus Group. We have a special presentation today by our chief metaphysicist, William Power. He appears to be running late, but...
David, we have a crisis. Will's been arrested. They got him on a possession charge, an ounce.
Ooh.
An ounce in the
Glove box? Damn it, that was mine. Yeah, he's too important. I'll turn myself in.
It won't make a difference. They're not going to give him up. The stakes are too damn high.
This is bullshit. We must use our powers to set him free.
Now we'll bust him out. Jailbreak. You know, like the song?
Free will.
Free will.
Yeah, Free Willy.
Free will.
Free will. Free will.
Master Cadmon! Master Cadmon!
The metaphor's collapsing.
Shit, we're too late.
Come, make haste, but not at the expense of proper metaphor.
Where are we going?
To the point.
Immaculate Conception.
And remember, if it's not working, you're not doing it right. Point being, get abs tracked.